Hey guys, this is wersderf, and this is part 3 of my World of Tanks for Beginners video series. In this episode, I will be showing you how to research and buy tanks and modules and explain what the stats on each modules are. So, let's get right started. So right here, I have my T1 Cunningham, and suppose I played a couple battles, I got some experience, and I got a couple 100,000 credits. And, you know, I want to research some stuff. So, as you can see, I already have everything researched, including all the next tanks. So let's go to the T57, a tank that I have not played yet at all. As you can see, the tracks have not been researched yet. All these other things I've had researched already because I researched them from other tanks. If you don't know what I mean, certain modules can be researched from other tanks. For instance, this T57 shares the same radio as the Tier 6 M4 Sherman. So, if you want to research something, it tells you how much experience you need. Now, you can see right here it says combat experience. This is how much experience I have for this tank. And since I've not played it, I have 0. But I have some free experience that I can spend on modules for this tank. So, I want to upgrade the tracks. Bam. I researched the tracks, and there you go. Now I'm going to buy this tank for you. So suppose I was in my T1, and I clicked the little green button, I researched it, and now I want to buy the T57. So right here it tells you how much credits you need to buy it. 3,300. Click it. It'll give you a couple options on buying this tank. It'll tell you how much credits you need to purchase this tank. It'll give you an option to buy a garage slot for 300 gold. You don't need to do that. Or load standing ammunition. Both options I do not suggest you use. Now, it'll tell you what kind of crew you want to buy for this tank. Now, if you're a beginner, I suggest you go with the 50% because you likely do not have enough credits to buy the 75%. Or you can click purchase without crew, because you can use the same crew you had in the T1. So I'll click Rapid Corsets, it's free. And I just bought my fancy new T57 artillery. Here it is. Isn't that fancy? Now, you can see that this tank has different, it has a different crew loadout than the T1. This one only has 2, and the T57 has 5. As you can see, it has a commander, a gunner, driver, radio operator, and loader. And if you're interested in seeing exactly what kind of crew loadout a tank has before you research it, you can click vehicle details, go over to crew, and it'll tell you commander, driver, gunner, radio operator, and loader. And you can also look at the statistics. So, this is now a stock tank. I bought it, and I didn't research any modules or purchase them. This is the stock loadout. And when you buy a tank, if you do not click the load standard ammunition, you will not have any ammo. So before you even go into a battle, click service. If you click battle without loading ammunition, this message will show up. Not enough shells in the ammo, enter the battle anyway. Please, for God's sakes, do not click yes if you see this message. Click no. Give your tank some shells by spending a little credits, and now you have some shells in your tank. And if you're a beginner, likely you don't have enough free experience or even the credits to research and buy new modules. So if you're a beginner, you will likely go into battle with your stock T57. But if you're like me and you have stuff researched already, you can just buy it right here. As you can see also, the gun there's only one gun. The stock gun is the top gun on the T-57. There are two radio upgrades for the T-57, an engine upgrade and a tracks upgrade. Before you can move on to the next tank, which is the Tier 3 M7 Priest, you have to research the engine. You don't have to buy it if you don't want to, because if suppose you're saving up the 11,000 credits to buy the Priest, which is 47,000 credits. You don't have to buy the engine, but I suggest it. Anyways, I have it researched. Just like the tank, if I want another radio, I can spend the 1,900 credits and buy the radio. And when you buy stuff, it will automatically mount it for you. One thing about buying stuff, if the module you're buying is too heavy for the stock tracks or suspension, then it will not mount for you, and you need to get the upgraded tracks for it. In this tank, you don't need any upgraded suspension for it. Just something to look into when you're buying new modules. If you want to be safe, just buy the new the tracks before anything else. As you can see, this little icon was flashing down here. When I bought all this stuff, it'll tell you your essentially receipt for buying all this stuff. It'll tell you your experience that you spent and all this other jazz. So, you just bought your vehicle, but you have no idea what kind of vehicle this is. So, I will explain it to you. There are 5 different types of vehicles in World of Tanks. There is the light tank. There is the medium tank. There is the heavy tank. There is tank destroyer, and there is an SPG. Most early tanks are going to be light tanks. As you can see, there are 2 light tanks. Well, that's a premium tank. Let's go to a more advanced tech tree. A lot of the tanks at low tier are going to be light tanks. I will go more in depth on the type of tanks in a later episodes. Right now, I'll go over the modules. So, I'll go back to my T1 Cunningham for this. As I said before, there are 5 different types of modules: the gun, the turret, the radio, the engine, and the tracks. The gun, quite simply, is the thing you shoot with. If you hover over the gun, this is actually the gun I have equipped. It'll give you specific statistics. Actually, I don't want to use that one. There are 2 types of guns. Single fire gun, you shoot, it fires, and it'll reload. It shoots 1 shell at a time. The other one is an auto-loading cannon. It has a magazine. So, when you load the shells, it'll load the magazine. And magazines take longer to load than a single shell, except the benefit for that is that once it's all loaded, you can fire your entire magazine without reloading again. So I'll go over the standard gun. The 37mm gun stock on the T1. It has a 24 rate of fire. That means it shoots 24 rounds per minute. The average penetration. Now, this is something that I was never explained when I first started playing World of Tanks, so you guys are in luck. So, you see 3 numbers when it says average penetration. It says 28, 45, and 19. What the 28 means that the 28 means with standard ammunition, you will get 28 average penetration in millimeters. The 45, the number in the middle, means with gold rounds, you'll get 45 millimeters of penetration. And with the last number, that is HE. With HE, you will get 19 millimeters of penetration. For the most part, you should be looking at the number to the far left. The same thing goes for damage. The one on the left tells you the damage or average damage you get for this ammunition. The one in the center is the standard damage, or the average damage for the gold round, and the one to the right is the average damage for HE rounds. The next number is your accuracy. or the gun's accuracy, 0.54. What this number means is that after 100 meters in game, that will be the dispersion. So imagine this is a meter. All right, right here. At 100 meters, your gun will shoot in this radius. This is about 0.54. And that's every 100 meters. Keep that in mind. So 0.54 is a pretty bad accuracy. A gun that has 0.2 is good. All right? Just know the smaller the number, the more accurate it will be. The next number is aiming time. The amount of time it takes for your gun to aim in. This one is 2.5 seconds. That is actually an okay aiming time. And the weight of the gun, that's how much it weighs mounted on your tank. Next module we have is the turret. This is the thing that swivels. Tank destroyers usually do not have turrets. I will go to a tank destroyer to show you. This 200Y Tier 6 Premium Tank Destroyer. This tank does not have a turret that is researchable. See, it only has 4 modules. But if you have certain tank destroyers, like this T-28 Prototype Tier 8 Tank Destroyer, American, it has a turret. Keep that in mind. But most tank destroyers do not have turrets. Anyways, this is the stock turret on the T1 Cunningham. Keep in mind that different turrets look different. So if I mount this turret, see how it looks? That's how it looks, this turret. And when I mount the next turret, it will look different. And mount the other gun. Let's fix this up. Alright, back to where we were. So turrets. These are the statistics you can look at. For armor, it tells you on average, or in specific points, it'll tell you what the armor is in the front, the sides, and the rear in millimeters. The front of this turret has 10 millimeters. The sides of this turret has 10 millimeters of armor. The back, 10 millimeters. The next number, traverse speed. That is degrees per second. 90 degrees. The V, or the corner like this, the L, that's 90 degrees. So, every second, this turret turns 39 degrees. So that's about half. It's like, let's look, like that. Whatever, you get the point. That's how fast the turret rotates. The next number, view range. That is the view range in meters. How far you can spot enemies. And the last number, the weight of the turret mounted on the vehicle. The next module, the signal, oh, that totally messed me up. That's a radio. It's funny that the name for this radio is signal flags. I can't believe I've never discovered that before. Okay, so the radio is used to communicate with your teammates. There's only 2 stats for the radio. The range of the radio and the weight. The range is in meters and the weight is in kilograms. 40 kilograms for mounted on this vehicle. The next module, engine. This stock engine for the T1 Cunningham is 110 horsepower. That is how powerful the engine is. Depending on how powerful the engine is, the faster the tank will accelerate and the specific traverse for the tank. The next number is the chance of fire on impact. So this engine has a 20% chance of getting set on fire if it gets shot. So if you get shot in the engine and your engine gets damaged, there's a 20% chance that you'll be lit on fire. 20% chance is standard. And then the weight, of course, on the vehicle. The last module that you will need to learn about are the tracks or suspension. The standard tracks on this T1 Cunningham have a load limit of 7.6 tons. That's how much modules or weight you can mount on the tank. with these tracks. If you go over that limit, then you can't mount it. Okay? Consumables are weight. Equipment are weight. And modules are weight. So, when you mount stuff on your stock tank, you have to be concerned on how much weight is on your vehicle. That's where these weight stats come in handy. The next number, your traverse speed. That's how fast your tank traverses. And the weight of the tracks. So, that's the different modules that you can research. Keep in mind, all those stats are important when you are deciding what to research when you're going down the tech tree. So that's it for part 3 of my video series. If you don't want to miss any more videos, then go ahead and subscribe. You won't miss any more parts of this video series. So part 4 is coming out soon. Peace, love, and joy.